challenge that I said to everyone. I didn't read ahead because I don't trust myself when talking about
Turn
things.
to page
We had to
394.
We had yay! Let's get that round of applause coming in hot because we read part 4 and part 5. I'm seeing my stream on the other side and I'm distracted by my flailing self. How cool is this that we've finished the book? Now, we were preparing ourselves through this something we call like something we like to call the Sanderlanche. Apparently, we were going to go on a real ride the last few chapters. I think my expectations were placed way too high. I was like, someone's going to rip off their skin, and it turns out they're a lizard person. You know, I was like, what is about to happen? It turns out just some cool things, and we will talk about it. Just so you know, we are going full spoilers. We've read the whole book. We're going to talk about this whole book. And guess what else? I came prepared with pictures. So we're going to go through some of these pictures. So if you're watching in the members group, hey, everyone in the members group, do you want to unmute and say hi? Can you unmute and say hi?
Hi.
So we are all in a video call right now. I get to see everyone.
What have we here?
Beautiful faces. We had a little pre-show where we were chatting about teeth.
Fascinating conversation.
Why is that? Why is that, Sadie? Because I do not.
Because some of what we were talking about was actually pretty gross.
True. And you guys missed out on that one. And if you're not a Members Plus, that's not an incentive to sign up. Let's get to it. No, I have 0 cavities. I went to the dentist this morning and I have 0 cavities still for another year. Absolutely no cavities. She got good teeth. Clean your teeth. A couple of people followed recently. Shadowstar77, when I was setting up for the show, I saw that you followed. Thank you so much. If you are still here, amazing. Everyone, round of applause for Wicked Matty. They Take Your Pick, I believe, is doing social media for Maude's Book Club and crushing it. I've just made them a mod. So if you're in there, say a big hello. Welcome to the community. Be nice, everyone. We're always nice. We're always nice. It's just that when it comes to me, there's a little roasty toasty. Like Basil and his blanket. See, how cool is that? It's just like, I'm so did you see on my Instagram story? I said, bring your blanket. BYOB. Bring your own blanket. You can tell I'm so jealous that I just want a blanket here. I don't have one, unfortunately. Is more dressed like a baseball. Oh, I had batting practice last night. This part of my arm's so sore. I didn't know that could happen. Maddie says, beefy book. You're not kidding. This thing is big. Can you tell when I got excited and started making tabs and then just didn't? Yeah. Kate says, those last 100 pages of this book, insane. Terry says, hey all, I'm going to be in and out as I'm getting ready to leave interstate for my cousin's wedding over the weekend. Oh, that'll be fun. Vanessa says, I could not believe how many answers we got at the end, like a damn Agatha Christie novel. When you say Christie and novel in one, it's crystal. When your brain goes faster than your mouth. Oh, it's 7 degrees in Melbourne. No, thank you. Keep It Up says, oh, were they answers? Or were they misdirections? There's one that bothered me big time. We'll talk about it. True Scorn says it was lifting the book and not batting practice that's making Maude Beffy. I am going to include, I think it's a typo. I think it's supposed to be beefy. I am adding Beffy into my vernacular, my vocabulary, immediately. Don't know about you guys. I'm feeling a bit Beffy today. I like Beffy.
God.
Beffy. Yeah, no, we're going to put that into a sentence today, everyone. I want every single person to include Beffy.
It is better than swole.
I like Beffy. James says, Beffy the Vampire Slayer. That's an A+. Can we get a round of applause for Beffy the Vampire Slayer? Thank you very much. Can we get that round of applause any second? There we go. Thank you. Maddie says, The Way of Kings is a Beffy book. Goddamn right. Kay Frida says, you look so Beffy tonight, Maude. I will not allow that. Elbel's in the house. A big hello to Elbel. If you're not following her along on the Twitch adventures, what are you doing? You're missing out. You're sleeping on it. I'm doing book club this evening. We're doing The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. Book 1 of the Stormlight Archive series. Elbel's saying, how are you? I went to the dentist. No cavities. Did batting practice for softball last night. Forearm really hurts. And I don't know. I'm just a bit Bethy all around. We're using Bethy into a sentence. Beth, what's for dinner? Oh, Beth, it's what's for dinner. Oh, big side of Beth. Shadowstar, thank you for following. I hope you heard my observation of your follow earlier. Said, just finished the second read through on this one. Excited you all have finished it now too. Beth, please. Oh, I like that. Is there like a bye Felicia? But it's just bye Beth. Beth the fuck on. No, I got that wrong. Jog
It's
the
like
Beth
Mike
on.
Tyson trying to say Becky or something.
Now everybody Beth. Love it. Beth is my BFF. Where's the Beth? Okay, this is fun. So we're going to be... Becky is your friend. If you don't want to be friends, though, I'll have to take you out. Don't think I'll do it? I will. I'll kill you all. Okay. What the hell, Becky? Becky. Becky's on that Beth tonight. Real quick, let's go around the circle. And in the comments, I want to hear everyone's thoughts. Now that we've finished the whole book, where were you starting with the book? What was it out of 5? And where did you land at the end of the book out of 5? Because I started around a 3, landed at a 4.5. What's everyone else doing? Raise of hands. Who wants to go? Who's got a score ready? I will start. Yes, Vaden. Thank you.
I like Tim raise his hand too.
Yeah, he'll say it. We'll get there.
All right. I started at like a 4 there early on, and I was loving everything, and even early on. And by the time I got to the end, I gave it a 5 out of 5 because, yeah,
were you gonna say 5.5?
Well, yeah, I was gonna say 5 out of 5, but I corrected myself in time.
I've done a 6 before.
Well, I would give this book a 5.5 out of 5 because, yeah, I love it. I love everything about it pretty much. Like, it builds up so well. Like, everything goes over the course of the book. Like, you learn so much of the stuff is just foreshadowed and like kind of misdirected, but then everything pays off so well. I love that. I love when everything works out in such a...
I love when a plan comes together.
Exactly.
That's it. Also, like, it did pay off. It was satisfying. We were along for the ride, and it, like, the carrots that were getting dangled got bigger and bigger until we were sated. We beffed it up. What cats know? Thank you so much for the follow, by the way. Terry, thank you for 34 months at a tier 3. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Hope the packing goes well. Toast Poster, thank you for 33 months in a row. Says, hi, Maude. Hi, chat. Books. What the Beth? Books. I like it too. Hello, everyone who's a first-time chatter like Tankosaurus here. Said started at 3.5, now at a 4.5. James says started at 4, ended at a 5. Lisa says this is a reread for me, but it's a 5 out of 5. KP Dubs really making a point here. Really making an emphasis that it was 4.999999. What did you deduct as 0.0000001?
It started off a tiny bit slow, but it was just like climbing a mountain. It just kept going up and up and up and up and up and up and just kept going. I loved all of it.
You're so right. It was, did you guys have this in America as well? The Price is Right? And it had the mountain and there was a price amount and you had to try and guess what it was. And he'd be like, hey, and he would keep going. And then if it was too high, he'd fall off the mountain. We never fell off
We
the
had
mountain.
the Price is Right. We didn't have what you're talking about, though.
Yes, we did.
Oh, yes, we did. The yodeling guy.
We did. The yodeling mountain. Absolutely had that.
That game
That
is called
made it.
Cliffhanger.
There you go. It made it to Australia, which I'm so proud to say. We also know what yodeling is down under. I feel like that's what it was. We rolled the die, and it was like, was that okay, yodeling?
Pretty good to me.
Did I just yodel?
Poorly.
God, please don't.
I thought no, but it was a yodel. No. There's just no way.
I'm not sure if this
How
is something to be proud of.
Not
Maude.
really.
Was it really? Colleen! You didn't have to kick me in the dick. Yow! All right, no, yes, you did. Honesty is very appreciated around here. I'm just gonna go beff my guts out. That's fine. Put myself out there. I heard it, and I heard that it was way better than I thought it was gonna be. That's all. Anyway, climbing a mountain. Thank you so much, KP Dubs. Colleen, I mean, she's telling the truth. Can't get. I just didn't think that would come from you. I thought encouragement, but blatant. Weird.
I'm the negative Nancy around here.
No. Is this my impact? Has Colleen spent too much time around me, and I have
turned her into a bitter grandma?
Is that me?
Just give me tough love. That's all.
I grew up with the yodeler. My mom used to yodel around the house all the time. So I have a different standard.
God, I'm so
just
sorry.
Experienced with yodeling. I thought you were kind of like getting your roast on. Turns out, no, you just experienced, and I can handle the truth. I'll question it, but I can handle it. Tankosaurus says 3.5 out of 4.5. I think I said that one already. KP Dubs said it was a bit slow. Katie Brush says it was 11 stars. Tay said, look, I started at 2.5. I landed on a 4. Elbel, did you read this book, did you? Have you already read it? Elbel says I started at 2.5, ended at a 4.5. Kate says started at a 3.5 to a 4, ended at a 5. Susie just says 3. 3. Did you start at 3 and it ended at 3? I want to hear more about that. T-Bone says, may the Beth be with you. I thought that was worth noting. Crank Mantis says 5, but it was my second read. Toaster Poster says a red hot. Do you want to read the caption? Do you want to read what?
Go for it. I don't care.
Okay. Catch 22 is just given a very generous donation of $100 and said $100 for every star I gave this book. That means it was 1 star. I mean, you have
It's
not
quite the accomplishment
only
since he only got 10% through the book.
Yeah, right. But it's like not only one of the most wonderful things he could do for Maude's book club, all of this money goes back into the club, paying our wonderful coordinators who have been helping out with community, who've been helping out with social media. You can see that we're experimenting and putting out amazing content at the moment. So thank you so much for that. But also, you just metaphorically took the biggest dump on this book. That's such a win-win. I hope you feel empowered by that. I really say you. I appreciate that so much, Tim. Thank you so much. Thank you for that. That's very lovely. And congratulations on the raise. I think I just took it. I appreciate it. On that note, back to the chat. Colleen says, I started at a 4 and it was a 5 by the end. Christina said, I started at a 4, ended at a 5 as well. Lindsay says, started at a 3, ended at a 5. Can't wait for book 2. Jimmy, I swear sometimes you say shit just to ruffle feathers. Started at a 4 and then I dropped it to a 3.9. You troll. Why?
I'm not trolling. When have I ever trolled before, Maude?
Often and regularly.
You're just person.
You're beffing so hard right now. Go on. Why did you drop at 0.1?
Well, here's the thing. So while I was reading this book, right? You know how you broke it into halves? Well, I thought
quarters.
We were done with
quarters.
What's that?
We broke it into quarters, yeah.
Quarters. Well, I thought it was broken into halves. That's what I was trying to say. And so I thought after the part 2 we were done with the book. So I started reading Under the Whispering Door. And then when you said, "Oh, hey, we're having a part 3," I was like, "Oh, well, I'm reading Under the Whispering Door." So I started reading it after I was done finishing The Whispering Door.
Yeah.
So I read the book in the minute. So I'm just saying it was very confusing to me because, like I said, there was like a lot of information that was going on. And
yeah,
then
I smell Beth. I smell Beth. Do you know how many books I've read in between these books? Do you know how many books I've read? Oh, I'll go into it. No, you want to start this.
I'm not a big reader. I'm not a what they call a competitive reader. I read at my own pace.
No, I get that. The argument you've made is that you stopped a book to read another book. And there are people in this video call that do not like doing that. I will give you that.
It was confusion on my part. That's all.
I'm just like hearing Maude honing her claws here.
Sink 3, at least 3. I read at least 3 books.
You know, Kate read double that. Just saying.
How do you know that?
Because Kate is not here to defend herself, so I'm just letting you know.
Kate's here.
Kate has done that.
Are we talking about
excuse me, I'm here.
Oh, I didn't see you anyway.
Kate, you're being roped into an argument. What would you like to say? Nah, man, you started this. Beth's going down. Go on. Kate, how many books have you read in between starting The Way of Kings and ending The Way of Kings?
Let me check my Goodreads. I know it's at least 3.
Jimmy has also decided to pit 2 women against each other to deflect his argument. Amazing strategy.
Be full of crap. It's 4.
Now, did you get confused starting a book, reading 4 others in the interim, and then finishing this book?
No, because I'm smart.
Damn.
I didn't even
I've never claimed to be a smart person, much like Forrest Gump. I'm just very charming, that's all.
And you know what? Sometimes if you get to choose one, that's not a bad thing to choose. But yeah. Hold on, Kate. What's your number all up now?
Oh, for the year? I think I'm at 25 or 26. I just closed it. Something like that.
I would like everyone to meet my 50th book for the year.
Yeah, but I don't do audiobooks, so you and Lisa get like way ahead of me.
We really do. Oh my gosh, we really do. I mean, I've started, but oh my god, don't. Really? No, I'm kidding. I absolutely admit that multitasking and listening to audiobooks has been a game changer for me. I have actually started buying them. I preferred reading this than listening to this, which should surprise no one. Michael Kramer did do a very good job voicing some of the secondary characters. And Kate, whatever her name is, was fine. There are times where if the narrator is hurting the story, KP Dubs, the Gideon the Ninth, I will buy the book and try to read it. I will say the narrator's kind of hurting under the whispering door for me at the moment. This is such, he's crushing the snark. I just don't want to hear it. Anyway, continuing what everyone was saying. Oh, everyone. Oh, Colleen, you said it in the chat that your mum used to yodel. My bad. I was asking everyone, where did the book start for you, first impression, and then where did it end for you? Fiddle's getting on with the Beth saying LMFAO. Who's the Beth yodeling? What have I done? It's yodeling. And to new noddling, yodeling. I like yodeling. Yeah. Darren, you gave it a 5 out of 5. Oh yes, Kate.
Yodeling sounds like a euphemism.
Yodeling. Yodeling. Yeah, it's my accent. But yeah, I don't like yodeling. Yodeling's like, the first base to diddling for sure. Yodeling though, I can get behind yodeling. Yodeling and meedling. Nah, cool. Hanging out to dry. That's fun. Beth, you all. Pianki says the book started at a 3 for me, but ramps up to a 5 overall. Carlos V3D gave it a 5 out of 5. Phantom Aria first time chatter. We got a first time chatter in the house. We We got a first-time chatter in the house. We got a first-time chatter in the house. Saying started at a 3.5, ended at a 4.5. That was the same as me. Susie says, yeah, I started at a 3 and I ended at a 3. Academic says that Sanderlanche hit most of you hard. I'm a bit behind on the chat. I apologize. Kate says the book won because it stuck in Tim's head so bad that he had to donate. Hell yeah. It was also $1 for every page that Catch read.
Not inaccurate.
Way to demotivate you from reading, though.
In hindsight, that would have been a much better caption.
True, right? Still. Susie says, for the record, it was just too dang long, and it almost killed me.
It could have been a $1,250 donation if Tim had any kind of reading acumen, but he's a man who doesn't know how to read.
Oh, don't even.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Is he really didn't care about contributing to the stream that much when you think about it. They've contributed 12 times more.
I'm very appreciative.
That guy, but Academic, how many times have you donated?
Hostile.
Zero.
Hostile.
Zero? Just saying.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I will start yodeling again. I will do it. I will threaten you.
I'm about to start a fundraiser war.
I just to defend Catch, because he did. Kate, he opted out. He gave it a go. It's not that he cannot read. He just chose to redistribute his time because he's working. There you go. That's what a donation will get you. I'll have your back. Hey. True Scorn said, oh, hold on. No. Carlos says, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know how you stop halfway and think it was over. No, he didn't get that far either. Fiddled is trying to make Beth shit work. No. Beth is just all-encompassing. Maddie says, I love watching internet, Beth. La, la, la. Hold on. There's just a lot of animosity in this group. It's quite funny. But I mean, like, stop it. Be nice. But, like, you're like the Beth ball. Hooray for reading. Carlos calls me out for being a Kramer hater, and Academic says quite some shade for Kate reading. Well, if it's in her name, she should be better at it. She does a great job. Christina says Kramer's my comfort narrator. Yeah, because he puts you to sleep. Lisa says I've read 21 books since starting Way of Kings. Lisa, we do not deserve you. You are a specimen outside of our own existence. You are infallible. I need to look that word up again. I think it means what I want it to mean in this argument. We are not worthy. Even the Beth bows down.
Infallible just means... Just saying fallible just means like you're able to fail, essentially.
Infallible means you cannot then?
Yeah.
You cannot fail, yeah.
We seem perfect.
I used it correctly. Academic says, I personally like Kate for Yasna. I'm not thrilled about her Shallan. I'll give you that one. Susie says, by the way, Maude, where's your puppy? Did you two handle the heat today? Was it hot? Was it hot? Zelda, I will bribe you. It just looks like a fluffy butthole in my video. I need you to come and sit in there. Come on. Where's your treat? Get off the couch. Off the couch, on your bed. On your bed. On your bed. On your bed. You have to get your feet going. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I hope you guys caught that. I hope that was the cutest thing you've ever seen. Irish Warthog comes in strong with sup nerd muffins. Still my favorite slang. We've got a new one here. It's Beth. It is Beth. How to use it? It's up to your discretion. Kate says, I do appreciate that Lisa is single-handedly funding the trashy romance business. I don't know if you're trying to start something there, but I thought I'd say it just in case you were. Just no one's safe in here, are they?
No, I was being serious. That it's like she's read a lot of romances this month.
Lisa, I reckon you could write a romance book. I think you've had so many.
I'd be a terrible writer. No, I kind of went down like a rabbit hole, and there's this author who's got a bunch of interconnected series, and so I just binged them all.
Do you ever contact the authors saying like, big fan, love your stuff, you're so great?
I mean, I've gone to like book conventions before and met them, but
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
KPW is saying this is a safe space, while Academic is saying, what is safety? That's Maude's Book Club. Welcome. Fiddle says, safe is a luxury no one can afford around here. Club Jiggle says, hello. Bing. Hello, I'm sorry I'm late. Heading into work. Just going to drive for the next 3 hours listening to Maude's whipped foam voice on this chatting coffee. Oh, where is it? Does that mean it caffeinates you? Club Jiggle. That's add a little creme to that coffee. There you go. That's the most aptly used creme that we've had. Kate, you are banned from creming around here. You cannot say it. Yeah.
No one can stop me from creming.
You know what? Beth's and crems. What can I say? Alrighty. Okay, so we've basically spent the first half an hour ripping into each other, yodeling, forming new words, and talking about how we rated the start and the end of this book. Let's get stuck into it. Full spoilers. Let's beffing go. Fiddle says, did you give your rating for the book? I started at a 3.5 thinking it was quite slow, ended at a 4.5. Tortilla Eater, first time chatter, says creme de la creme. There you go. Beffing is a perfectly cromulent word. Love it. Club Jiggle says the conversation will keep me up, but the foam is a little part that you savor because as an adult it is not healthy, but it's what's needed now to make the day better. Froth on, son. Froth on. Alrighty. Oh, Fiddle says, honestly, I started at a 1 and now it's a 2. Fiddle, did you read this? Not did you read, full stop. That's the whole sentence. Did you read this book? KP Dubs has gifted a sub to Club Jiggle. That's very sweet. Welcome to Maude's Book Club. KP Dubs, thank you for making new people feel very, very welcome around here.
I've gotten that question actually more than once at work. Did you read?
Did you read?
Or do you read? I get that sometimes at work if I haven't read the book the person's looking at.
How do you respond?
I usually just like, yeah, I just didn't read that book. Or just like,
yeah, I have taste.
Just you're around the store. It's like, how many books do you see in here? And this is a small bookstore.
Do you sass, or do you want to keep your?
You should sass there. That's kind of a
I
stupid question to ask in the bookstore. Of course you read.
I usually give just like, I'm really good at like not necessarily sassing, but the look on my face. I can only imagine what it looks like.
You mean to tell me you're passive aggressive, Kate? Shocker.
I know, I'm Canadian. You have to be passive aggressive or you get kicked out of the country.
I would like to take this moment to say that Kate wrote me a card once when she sent me some of her knitting of beautiful socks and a scarf. And it was one of the nicest cards I have ever read. And I have it on my fridge to display to all. So Kate can be beffin' bitchy when she wants to. But let me tell you, she is creme scented. Sorry to out you like that publicly, but you're sweet, Kate. You're sweet. She's like silent, not unmuting. She's probably gesticulating to the camera behind my back. Just saying. Look, I'm looking at it right now. Anyway, hey, let's get into this. Unless you'd like to say anything, Kate.
Only with people I like.
Aw.
Effing beautiful. Fiddle says that's cute having someone's card on the fridge. Do I still have this one? Yeah. I still have a card here as well. I love you to the bookstore and back. That was from M, the cartographer. Kept that in the set. KP Dubs, you'll recognize this one. It's the chain link. Oh, I like it. Was this Jimmy? Was that you? I think that was you, Jimmy.
That was me. Yes, I sent a card along with it.
Yep.
And with all avatar lines. Yes, exactly.
Yep, I displayed that one too. Oh, she's sentimental. Emphasis on mental. Okay, let's get stuck into it. Part 4. I'm going to read you the analysis because I think it's really interesting. Basically, this is the climactic section of the novel, which returns focus to Kaladin and Dalinar. Goodness, these guys are similar. Also, I have prepared some artwork. This is courtesy of the Stormlight Archives wiki. I'd like to show you some Dalinar. Now, this is how I pictured Dalinar. This is an artist's rendition that you can find on the wiki. Daddy Dalinar right here. Are you effing kidding me? Big fan of this. I think Dalinar is my favorite character, followed closely by Adolin, and I'm sure third son starts with an R. Renelard, Renegade, whatever his deal is.
Renarin.
Sure. Yeah, he's a shadow until next book, I swear. But Daddy Dalinar, who finally just got the fuckets, my favorite version of Dalinar, for sure. Here is another artwork which I really appreciate because you can see. Now, he was supposed to have slate gray, but his cloak, which he gave to Kaladin, representing of the colonar,
Colonoscopy works.
Blue. He's of the blue house. But this shard armor looks sick. Now, keep in mind, the shard blade is 6 feet long. That is an entire Maude plus 1 inch. Like, that is really freaking amazing how big this thing is. So you just know that shard armor is doing literally heavy lifting for them. But what a force. It looks so incredible. And I kind of love seeing this artwork. But come on. Woof. Anyway, yes. You about to say something, Sassy? Oh, sorry. What's that?
I'm not seeing the artwork. I'm not sure where to look.
Oh, if you open up twitch.tv/MaudeGarrett, it's on the live stream. I have set many an image on the show, which will pop up here next to me in it. Do you want to see them again? You want to see Dalinar? There's Daddy Dalinar. You're going to have like a 15-20 second delay. I will hold. If you could unmute, I would like to get a real-time reaction to Daddy Dalinar, if that's okay. Can you see him? Darian? I'm not hearing an ooh or an ah. Colleen's got 2 thumbs up. Colleen's like, say less. I'm having some lavender wine and I'm counting. I'm counting down until the door shuts. Can you see it, Darian? I'll wait. We just
Darian, you're muted, dude.
You had to like load up Twitch, so yeah.
Yeah, so that's Daddy Dalinar, and then this is the shard armor down to the shoes because he was talking about the gauntlet and the cracks forming. I saw this a little bit differently, but I still think this is kind of cool. But like Dalinar, to me, he had a beard. This is what I'm feeling for him.
I always imagined when they're describing putting on shard plate, I was thinking of the Iron Man suit up sequence.
Yeah.
Just instead of like a robot putting on, it's like people putting on the armor for him.
I like that.
Yeah. Because it becomes seamless when the full armor is joined up, right? So.
What? I'm reading comments at the same time. Sorry, I'm only capable of absorbing one piece of information. Carlos is saying shard plate is essentially a mech suit. Baden says, I love the picture of the armor, but I wish it showed all the gems inside that power. I had a very different picture of the armor, by the way. Fiddled says it's giving me Joel from The Last of Us in a Fallout suit. Okay. Carlos says, except he's supposed to be Asian. A bit Asian, I'm pretty sure. That could be Kaladin. So here's some art renditions of Kaladin with Syl. This is, I guess, during the high storm because of that rain pelting down. And then here's another one of him in the battle, which I'm a big fan of because he's got that stormlight flowing through him. Where did you go? I'm going to make it a little bigger. Stormlight throw, and then there's Syl on his shoulder. But as you can see, he's got that shield where he is attracting and drawing the arrows into it. What a boss moment. All right, so this is what the analysis is saying. Kaladin and Dalinar, this focus here from chapters 52 to 69 is largely about self-discovery and self-awareness. Now, I feel these two are honestly like two halves of the same Beth, in that they are both kind of going through the same notion. They both have honor before anything else. They are trying to stay true to themselves, but are being accused from outsiders as having sort of like a self-absorption. So trying to be so selfless that is actually coming across selfish because it's consuming them. Get out of the way. Stop it. Okay. Dalinar finally sees Sadeas's true nature and understands that there is no way the two can work together. His words to the High Prince that you did what you had to do carry a double meaning. Overtly, they confirm Sadeas's version of events, preventing an open conflict between them that would further damage Alethkar's political instability. But in truth, Dalinar is commenting on the High Prince's treacherous nature and his desire for power. Once he understands his former friend's nature, Dalinar becomes aware that he cannot expect cooperation or fair treatment from Sadeas, or by extension, any of the High Lords of Alethkar. Better understanding of the motivations of others comes from a deeper self-awareness that Dalinar reaches during the battle on the tower. Facing death allows him to both confirm his own character and beliefs and discard his doubts. Now, this was a huge moment for Dalinar that I personally loved. He was so stuck in his ways. He was so fearful of having these visions of questioning what he was seeing, questioning his own sanity, defecting his own power to Adolin, his son, and then realizing, no, I have to see this through. I am on the right path. I have to defer back to the codes. I am supposed to unite everyone. He got a bit of false information in one of his visions, and this is what I thought was a little bit of a cop-out, that the person he was conversing with in these visions wasn't actually talking or recognizing Dalinar. He was just, it was like a record playing. It was like a stored memory that was showing to him, but could have been anyone, and it wasn't a two-way conversation. So when he was asking the question, can I trust Sadeas? And it was like, yes. He's like, girl, sick, I'll like do it right now. And it backfired. Now, the Sadeas journey I find was really interesting, and we'll get into that. So hold thoughts on Sadeas. Can't spell Sadeas without sad and ass. That's all I'll say about him. I really liked him, and then I did not at all. Basically, when you have a near-death experience, you start shirking sort of like the little shit that doesn't matter. And because of that, he fully accepts the Alethi codes as the right way of being, and that turning away from them is not an option. It is liberating for him. It allows him to prioritize the things that he deems truly important, such as behaving truly honorably and acknowledging his feelings for Navani openly. Those two, ooh, how cute. Kaladin also has a moment of revelation that undergoes a test. Until this point in the story, his actions are guided by self-centered reasons, such as the fear of failure. His conversation with Wit makes him reevaluate his life and decisions, showing him that doing the right thing should be its own reward, regardless of the outcome. This allows Kaladin to shrug off his belief that he's been cursed, even though I feel like he has. Why would Dalinar bring up the fact that he went to see this truthsayer, the seer, the person who can achieve one thing for you, but at the cost of a curse.
Night
But
Watcher.
Dalinar,
I think it is.
what is it?
I think it's the Night Watcher.
Yeah.
It's a Night Watcher that does that?
Yeah. I think
Why
one
do
of
they
the
call it a Night
interludes
Watcher?
talked about it a lot.
Yes. Yes. I didn't know it was the Night Watcher. I would have been like, oh, okay, Game of Thrones. But very different. Essentially, it is the power to grant a boon at the cost of a curse.
It's
And
like Monkey's
Dalinar,
Paw, right?
yeah,
Nah, a little bit
ish.
different.
I
Monkey's
was
Paw
thinking
is,
of it.
is inherently malicious. I don't think Night Watcher
No,
necessarily is.
I was thinking of it
fair,
more
fair,
like a
okay.
hag in like
Yeah,
D&D
yeah.
or like
Kinda,
folklore, where it's just
yeah.
like you go and you ask for something, but you have to give something in return.
Yeah, but
But
you have
again,
no,
without the
it's, you roll
malicious
the
aspect of it,
dice.
it's not trying to be an ass about it. It is going to take something, but it's not malicious like a genie or a
Hags aren't
hag.
always malicious. Like
They
sometimes
usually
they'll
are.
give you exactly what you want and they want something in return. But that's the way magic is. Like you can't get nothing for free.
No, it has to come at a cost. And it is random. It's roll the dice. Jay Buntrock is saying Ursula. No. Ursula had really nefarious notions. She was out. She was out to get it. She wanted that trident. And she was using body language. Ha! To get there. If anyone ever sees me do karaoke and I choose that song, Poor Unfortunate Souls, let me just say, you are in for a treat. But the last time that it happened was 4:40 a.m. on a Tuesday morning, Monday night in New York. And 2 people saw it. Not including the bartender. I'd like to think it was magical, but 7 beers in, I can't be too sure. So you're saying there's a chance. So much yodeling. I didn't think I could. Apparently I still can't, but I thought I could. Magic always has a price, says Colleen. And KBW says even magic follows the laws of conservation of energy. So essentially Dalinar's like, listen, I lost my wife. Thinking about her is too hard. I would like her memory extracted. And as we'd seen throughout the book, anytime her name was mentioned, it would be white noise. And he would struggle going, I just can't, I'm trying to draw a memory and it's just not coming to me. So he asked for that, either to soothe his grief, whatever it was his choice to remove the memory of his late wife. He will not discuss the curse. He will not say what that curse is. Anyone who doesn't know, could you take a guess as to what his curse actually is? Baden, why you got the giggles?
Everyone's typing. When you're saying the name of his wife, everyone's in the chat's like, shh.
Yes.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, that's what Michael Kramer does as well. He was like,
Yeah.
when Navani was talking about it, Navani? It was like, yes, I was very fond of That's how we did it.
Well, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, from the interlude, it explained that the curse is not necessarily related to the gift.
No, they're very random.
I see, yeah. One thing I don't really have a theory about what the curse really is, but one thing I noticed is that neither of his sons bring up the mother either. Like the first person outside of Dalinar to actively bring up his wife is Navani. But then we see the thing. And so I feel like it's just like something I'm just like, I don't know. Personally, I read that, I was like, I'll find it out in a later book. Like I can't, I don't have enough information to guess what's going on.
I will actually emulate that completely. The way that he's written this, it's like, you'll tell me when you're ready, but I'm not going to sit here and speculate and wonder. I will continue with the story until this is relevant. I do wonder though, because Navani was saying, could you tell us the curse? Because could the visions be related? And I wonder if his curse was that he was burdened with radiant knowledge. But he seems to think, no, academic, your poker face is shithouse.
I honestly don't remember what the curse is. So that was just
that
me
was
saying,
genuine.
Oh, it was genuine.
I thought you were like, ooh. Oh, I like that. All right.
That's a good theory.
Separate. How do you think your poker face is? Could you play a mean game of poker, or are you just like
No, I can play a mean game. I often give misleading faces as well doing this. So you don't know when I'm an actual, yeah, so good luck. Don't actually try to read my face if you actually want to know stuff.
Where's that golf clap? You are playing the long game on that.
Shit.
You're playing long game and you are throwing deception because you
I
just
think
never
D
know.
would date an ostrich.
I'm sorry, what the fuck was that? What was that sound? Someone would date an ostrich?
Wrong button. I apologize.
No. Oh my god, I have
Now
to
we need to
learn
know
more
what it
about
is.
that. I
Was that
have to
from
learn more about that.
Letterkenny?
It's in Adam Visions. He's got 500 stupid weird things, and it's something about an
something
ostrich.
about
Here it
dating
is
an
again.
I think D would date an ostrich.
I think D would date an ostrich, is what it
D
says.
would. Oh my god, can someone? Is he still streaming? Is he still streaming? He is. He is. I have to. Okay, I'm not going to be able to see the answer. Okay, I'm going to find out. What the hell is your Discord soundbite about D dating an ostrich?
And who the hell is D?
8-bit D. It's a friend of his.
Would date an ostrich. I don't think I would date an ostrich.
What the hell is your Discord soundbite about D dating an ostrich? It just played in my stream and I have questions.
I think it's from It's Always
Ellie.
Sunny in Philadelphia.
It's Ellie saying, I think D would date an ostrich. It's, I don't know how to just play it. I'm sorry, Adam.
Can I just say that I find it really funny for a book that you all so collectively love that we spend less than a third of our time actually talking about it?
That's all yeah, well, that's because we spread out. It's worse with this one, though. It's because we spread out across 2 months.
We just skip everything. Like, not really going to talk about this book at all.
When you play D&D with friends, you actually play only 1 hour out of the 4.
This seems to be a pattern. We get distracted easily.
Nah, no, don't. I just.
What happens
Don't
when you
even
put
try
a
and
bunch of
make mod.
ADD kids in a room together?
All right. I mean, I could go on and on about the pros and cons of dating an ostrich, but I will get back to the book. And I would like everyone to be proud of me for staying on target. Do we have stay on target as a soundbite? I would like to get that one for sure. Yeah, we need that. Every time I segue or like tangent, we need to stay on target. Stay on target. Okay, cool. We'll make that
I feel like I've
happen.
even used you more than the golf clap one.
Yeah, stay on target. All right.
That's been going on since Alpha Book Club.
Yeah. That's not wrong. Elbel says, I'm sorry for Adam. First try. Adam told me to say it, so I made the mistake of doing what Adam said. And now it's a permanent soundbite in here. Permanent soundbite. All right, what I would like to get back to is Daddy Dalliner. Really like the evolution of Daddy Dalliner, especially when he was like, I'm trying so hard. Now he actually said something that to me felt like it was someone who suffered from addiction trying to steer course, saying, if I indulge remotely, if I take any steps towards the things that I would want to do, I will lose control. I will not be able to kind of stay true to my path. I need boundaries and I need to almost punish myself to stay on a path where I won't indulge, where I won't go too far. He's not going into specifics of his past or what that meant. I don't know if it's tied into his wife at all, but I thought it was very much an all or nothing sort of personality trait, where if he can kind of limit not his exposure to things, but if he can limit sort of where he has his output, then he can be the best version of himself. It was almost self-flagellating in a way where he's like in love with this woman, has been in love with her for ages, his brother, her husband, has passed for 6 years. And these two are clearly in love. And I kind of love that she's putting herself out there. But he's so, like, stoic is gentle compared to what he's doing. He's just opting out because he feels like it is, what's the word? Unloyal, honorific, a betrayal. He doesn't think it's right. And then who would have thought, nearly dying, and he gets a case of the fuckets, and he's like, nah, I'm in love with you, let's do this. And the way that he approaches Elhokar, chef's kiss. Who saw the Elhokar twist? The king who's got paranoia. Now, the reason why he has paranoia, super interesting. Not looked into at all. We know, the reader, we know. But he's just like, yeah, this glyph head keeps haunting me. I'm paranoid because I keep seeing these things. But he ends up cutting the saddle strap to try and challenge his advisors to take this seriously, even though it's him doing it. Dalinar is furious, saying, you caused doubt. You gave my enemies a reason to distrust me, when I have proven time and time again I am on your side. There was a time I wanted to take the title as my own, and I could have killed you. I could have killed you 1,000 times. Hell, I pommeled you into the ground, and I could kill you now. How many ways can I show you that I'm loyal to you? So here's what's going to happen. You stop being a little shit. You're going to sign here, date here, initial here. We are going to pull in a regimen, which means that we are uniting all of these bitch-ass high princes who have held their own for too long, who have no respect for the king, who are so busy indulging in their own ways. Elhokar is kind of immature, says Colleen. He needed an ass whooping.
And also, I'm dating your mom.
And also, I'm dating your mom. What? Beautiful.
I think the funniest thing was that was the thing that Elhokar was the most okay with. He's like, oh, all right, fine.
I thought he was kind of like, what the fuck, dude? That's my mom. He's like, I'm your dad now.
Duff.
Like, yeah, it's great. It's like, you were my uncle and now you're my dad? No, daddy.
It was,
love
yeah,
that
that was like
him.
the Maury episode. It's like I love you like a son, and your mom is hot.
I am your father. What? Yeah, so that was a really cool moment. And Kate, you bring up a really great point. I cannot wait for Kaladin to be reunited with Amaran. Amaran? I'm a dick. What a punk.
Especially because now Kaladin doesn't have to take orders from any other Light Eyes except for Dalinar's camp. So Amaram will be like trying to give him orders and he doesn't have to listen.
He's exempt from all of that. Oh my gosh, Kaladin's evolution was beautiful to witness. Him going into full leadership mode at the end there. We got a few new follows coming on through here. Mr. Apples 29, and Crozier 25, and Sassy Shaunsey. Thank you so much for the follow. Hey, it's Maude for Maude's Book Club. We are reading The Way of Kings. We've just finished the book. We've been covering it over 2 months, and we're talking about the main points. Now, like most Sanderson books, the last couple of chapters really pack a punch, and we're unpacking those chapters now. We're mainly talking about Dalinar and Kaladin and how they have gone on very similar journeys where honor has taken the wheel for them at their detriment from time to time. Jay Buntrock's just dropping some gift subs in there. Thank you so much for the 5. Coda Sim, Critter Nation, Odyssey Dave, Philip Tamer, and Botanical Drifter all got gifted a sub. Hey, if you got one, make sure you say a big thank you to James because he's a ledge. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate it. I get to thank you directly. That's fun. Vaden gifted one to Susie. Loving that. Susie just said, where did you say it? I can't find it. Pianki said the glyph heads feel like only part of a paranoia. There does appear to be someone else trying to kill him, given what we know about these shard plate gems. Thank you for bringing that back up. Elhokar cut his own strap, but someone has damaged and punctured the gems that were supposed to replenish the stormlight in his suit. This would mean once he had fallen off the saddle, if he got trampled or crushed, the suit would give way and he would die. So you're exactly right, Pianki. There is something nefarious still happening. We do not know who's trying to betray the king. He is not a strong king. Sadeas has been sidling up to him to get power, to be promoted to a war. It's not a war advisor. It was the keeper of secrets, where he's trying to find, what is it? He's trying to find the truth.
High Prince of Information?
Information. Trying to get to the bottom of what's happening. I will say, Sadeas' last quarter for part 4, part 5 put me in a tiz. Because this whole trust Sadeas, I was like, come on, bro. Like, we got to trust you. When the investigation takes place, it does seem that Sadeas is going to use this position as the, you just said it, something of information.
High Prince.
High Prince of Information, that he was going to use it against Dalinar to frame Dalinar for this attempted murder. It turns out that Sadeas is like, I think someone's trying to frame Dalinar. Dalinar's a good guy. He is honest. He is someone important. We should look to him. And Dalinar's like, I thought you were out to get me. This is wild. And so then Dalinar sees that as, I am supposed to trust him. Hey, Sadeas, let's team up, bro. Let's combine forces. This is how we start uniting. And Sadeas is like, yes. Now, the way that Sadeas is described in the book and the way that Michael Kramer voices Sadeas, so different. Very, very different. Sadeas is supposed to be a little bit bigger in red plate armor, yeah? I have pictured him as a bald, snooty dude with a very thin mustache that just sits at the top of his lip. Because the way that Michael Kramer, Sadeas sounds like this when he talks. Am I right? Is that close?
I pictured him as kind of like chinlet, like weak chin, long, like skinny nose. Always kind of have this look on his face like he's like just smelled something gross. I pictured him for some reason in like a colonial wig, and I don't know why.
Oh my gosh, I know who you're doing. Are you picturing the guy, the English guy?
Am I picturing like Judge Frollo from Noachback of Huntradam?
Who are you, Maude? Huntradam. No, I was thinking of the villain kind of guy from Pirates of the Caribbean, because he had that. Yes.
That's exactly what I was thinking of.
Yeah, like that.
Mercer. His name is Mercer in Pirates of the Caribbean. That's your thinking.
Yes,
like
it's
that's
that
who I
kind
was
of
kind of
guy.
picturing. And he's like only
like that.
in his body without the shard plate would be like, I pictured him as like, paunchy and like, flat droopy butt, and he only looks good because of the shard plate, and he's got a stupid colonial wig on.
That's so funny. I like that. I think we're all kind of getting that vibe from it for sure. But the fact that he actually does end up betraying Dalinar is heartbreaking. Dalinar's suggestion was to team up. Sadeas had to say yes. He saw an opportunity and he took it. And what happened was the Parshendi attacked. They kept attacking. These guys, I feel like this is the kind of enemy where it's just, there is no end. It's just a flood of bodies coming through. And so Sadeas goes, peace, turns his encampment around, takes his bridgeman, the bridgeman that he offered Dalinar for this trip, so Dalinar does not have any of his own bridges, strands Dalinar and his whole army, 8,000 plus of his army, and they're getting encircled and swarmed by the Parshendi. Now, the dialogue between Adolin and Dalinar in this moment was beautiful. Brandon Sanderson writes like you can see it in a movie. You can see the positions of them. Adolin is fending them off, screaming, Father, he's betrayed us. I knew he would betray us. And Dalinar's like, I didn't think he would. But like this raw emotion that's coming out. And at the same time, Kaladin, who is a part of Sadeas' bridge army, is packing up because he's a good guy that has to save everyone. And I was saying earlier, I think it felt like Kaladin had gone to the same old magics to say, I need a boon. And the cost of it was, you will be cursed by everyone around you dying. He truly feels like he's cursed. And this is his ongoing struggle where he wants to give, he wants to give, he wants to help, he wants to save. It is his burden that he's carrying because he has lost people that he loves. We got the Tien scene. We learn about Tien, and isn't this fucked up? Essentially saying that I was handed boys that couldn't fight. So if they can't fight, I will find another use for them. And they were sword fodder. They were put out and handed spears that they couldn't even hold to draw.
Which is like interesting too, because that's what the Bridgemen are. They aren't meant, like before Kaladin came and when he first came, that's what they are.
They were
They
arrow
are
fodder.
exactly what Tien was. Tien was like the proto Bridgeman.
Your purpose is to die.
In addition to that, that saying that Tien Sergeant said, you got to use the tools that are given to you, is one of the things that Kaladin says to himself when he's thinking about the Bridgeman. So, like, I think this entire experience is continually bringing him back to Tien.
And there's like a time where he's like, I've been here before. And it's like, yeah, dude, this is secular? What is that word?
Circular?
No.
Ouroboros?
Cyclical.
Cyclical.
Cyclical. Except my mum said cyclical, and I went on a little thing going, is it cyclical or cyclical? Am I the problem? Am I saying another word wrong again that everyone's been saying differently this whole time?
I say cyclical.
You say cyclical. I say cyclical. What is it? Can we get a poll?
I'm used to the latter, at least.
We had a poll going. Is it cyclical or sacrilegious? That's sacrilegious, what I just
My
said.
word, that's precisely one of the words that I always read but never have to say. So I haven't decided how I want to pronounce it.
All right, I like that. You're just opting out. If you were truly a good strategist, you would find a better use for your tools. Light eyes suck at everything, says Kate. Terry says, if you can't fight here, you've got two choices, the drum or the flag, said the Continental Army General to the new recruit. Excusez. Chippies. Come on back up. Gotta break eggs to make an omelet, says Club Jiggle. Colleen says decoys. Yeah. Sprinkle says that sounds like a bad excuse to avoid admitting that you're bad at your job. This is the thing, and this is, I think, a really big lesson that they learned. They saw humans' life as a way to expunge it just for the sake of an advantage, for a momentary advantage, right? And I'll take that wave. Dalinar offering up his shard blade for Bridgeman's lives. So the worth of a life really does depend on who sees the person. And I think that Kaladin has realized that every life matters. He's saving all the wounded, even though he's getting punished for bringing the wounded back, not only by the people above him who set that rule that we do not carry or treat the weak, but also by his own Bridgemen, saying, I don't want to have to sacrifice or suffer because we're saving people that can't even lift their weight around here. The adjustment that Bridge 4 has made in these last chapters was something beautiful. It was so wonderful to witness appreciating life, giving back, camaraderie, family. That evolution that they had was just so wonderful. We're starting to learn more of Tef's backstory. We're not really learning as much about Moash's backstory. What's his deal? Moash, I feel I wonder if someone's got an oath stone of his, or if he's just fueled by vengeance. He wants to kill someone and won't say yet who it is. If you've not read ahead, who do you think Moash is targeting? Club Jiggle says you're only as strong as your weakest link, though. I get that. Hold on. Read, then find more.
Because it wasn't mentioned, it's going to be someone important.
That's what I'm thinking.
Like, it was just like a nobody. He would have just been like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna kill Jimbo, like he killed my family. And the fact that he didn't say, it's because it's probably a character that we know.
Uh-huh. He's playing long game, but he's fueled by revenge. Moash is one to watch for sure. And I don't think he wants to piss off Kaladin because Kaladin's almost saved him. So this will be very interesting. Lisa, your poker face sucks.
Well, we have a little bit of a mystery with Teft as well because Kaladin told him, I'm here because I couldn't save somebody. Teft is here because I killed somebody. We don't know who that is.
But Teft has also admitted that his family, because we got a point of view from him. So this is an outward knowledge. This is what Teft was thinking. I'm starting to forget what my family taught me about the Knights of Radiance, but I know it's my job to pass it on. So he knows, and he's a follower or devout. We're not too sure, but his family has passed on this information about the Knights Radiance. So it's quite interesting to for a reader to know that Kaladin is discovering something that he wasn't even aware of. Test has been challenging it, throwing that punch, seeing what Kaladin would do, and he erupts into his Stormlight. Beautiful. Love that moment. But also Teft not knowing everything either. So usually a trope is when you're learning your powers for the first time, you will have the wise one, your Dumbledore, your Obi-Wan, Ben Kenobi, that can teach you about your power and then eventually pass. Now, Teft in this instance only knows a finite amount of this. So he knows what Stormlight is, but he has no idea how to train him. He's like, I'm just learning as much as you are. I'm forgetting everything I'm supposed to know, but I'm recognizing what you are and what you have. So that's pretty interesting, especially for Kaladin, who's like testing out his powers in real time. Was everyone else visualizing that fight with Kaladin when he was ramped up and charged on Stormlight? Just this is in slow-mo and everyone else is in real time and he's just figuring out every parry, every jump, every thrust. It's just like perfection to witness.
The Stormlight coming off the beards of the Parshendi. Oh man, that's so cool.
Getting sucked through, and even the Parshendi realizing that like we should stop sending people in with the gems attached into their beards because it's powering him up. This picture here with the Stormlight eyes activated, literally it's the Stormlight's making him a light eyes in this moment. I love the symbolism behind that as well. Still recognizing that the more charged he's becoming, the more she's learning and knowing. This whole spren, which has been trickled throughout this book, the fact that she is an honor spren and she recognizes that and has analyzed that about herself, and the fact that they were getting stronger and she's like, look, I can cure you, I can abolish basically the Stormlight, I can cease your path to acquire the Stormlight. If you don't want it, I can stop it.
It's also super interesting that in Alethikar, we don't see any other honor spren. So it's like they have
Dalinar doesn't even have one. I thought maybe Dalinar had one.
Honor has abandoned that land.
There you go. And it's also interesting to note that like the Stormlight only charges their weapons. It doesn't actually affect them. So their suit, their armor becomes incredibly strong. So they can fight better and they can summon a shard blade, but they themselves cannot infuse Stormlight. The only other person that we have seen it and that we can see max level of what weaponized Stormlight looks like is Seth. I have a picture.
This is going back to a question you had a couple minutes ago. But as soon as Kaladin's powers were revealed, I have nothing to support this theory, but I theorized that Seth would become Kaladin's teacher. Because Seth is already a master of those powers. And Kaladin needs someone to teach him.
Seth is under control of
Seth
someone.
That's a winding path. How do we get from where Seth is now to him teaching Kaladin.
That's Sanderson's problem. He's got to make it happen now. That's as far as I'm concerned.
So we did have another chapter with Seth again. Here's a really cool artwork that I found of him in action. If you can look up the Twitch page, I put it up here, where he not only has sort of like the weapon, but you can see that he has ingested Stormlight and it's trickling and trailing out of him. This guy's full beast mode. Like, this guy cannot and will not be stopped. He is the greatest weapon. And
Once you
now,
take his rock away.
well, it depends who's harnessing his oath stone. And we now know who it is. And it's this king who's supposed to be incredibly daft, and we recognize it's an act. He wants people to think that he's a bit slow, that he's a bit stupid, that he's a bit woo. He has a reputation of helping the wounded. He's a softie. Lies, false. This guy's nearly said it. This guy's bad news. This guy's Beth, like full Beth. And he is bleeding out the weak and the miserable, the lonely and depressed. Anyone who's not going to be missed is slowly he's killing, because he has recognized that the blurbs at the start of chapters, the last dying words of people, have been recorded. Some of them make sense, some of them do not. But essentially, you just realized that? You only just realized that, academic? What?
Mm-hmm.
You had an epiphany.
I'm having an epiphany about Shallan's and Yasna's traipse through to the media district. What if the guards weren't actually responding to all of the disappearings in that area because they were actually working for Taravangian?
By taking the weak and
the people who wouldn't be missed.
The homeless.
Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense.
That's
and now and it's not just the weak and the homeless, it's also the people who would be missed, because there's now an actual excuse. Well, they're not getting disappeared. They're actually just getting accosted by footpads. Exactly.
So they're doing the job of someone bigger.
But maybe Kharbranth is a lot more seedier than just the signing sitting on the hill that it's portrayed as.
Vanessa the Porg says, "Oh, that tracks."
I sort of had a theory for the chapter where Seth finally meets Taravangian, because there's the one chapter where Kaladin becomes the storm, right, and just goes through all of Roshar, and at some point it's this one short passage of, oh, he sees a girl with red hair frightened in a corner, which is like Shallan having her episode. And then he immediately sees Seth right after standing over two guards. So my theory was that the moment Seth meets Taravangian is at the same time that Shallan is having her breakdown. And that is when Kaladin is having this dream going through Alethkar on the High Storm. Because he's basically this is a theory, because the book's not necessarily going everything you're reading in sequential order. Some of it's parallel, so you don't know when Seth's things are happening yet, because he hasn't met with anyone else.
Yeah, his timeline's different. Club Jiggle also says, "Maude, do you believe he's gone full power, Kaladin? I love that he's got another level to reach before the end of the." He left on a cliffhanger. No, I feel like he's just untapping the power. That's Zeth you think's gone full power. I thought you meant Kaladin. Zeth's gone full power. No, he's only giving what he has to, what he's been commanded to. I do think he's the perfect teacher for Kaladin. He's the only teacher though. He's the only other person we've seen that's got that kind of power. But what's exciting for us is that we know the potential. We know what he's capable of. He's just learning it. He's learning to throw pebbles when this guy can destroy Earth.
One thing that Kate said is that there's no honor sprint in Alethkar. I'm not sure if there are honor sprint anywhere. Syl has said, I think that I'm unique. So it's not that honor has left Alethkar. Maybe honor has left Roshar.
Yeah, it didn't even sound like she knew what she was until she had that kind of clarity. This has to tie back into one of the interludes that we had. The centuries-old being who we've not seen an equal or like of in the rest of the book that is documenting Spren and is trying to find different versions of Spren, like inebriated Spren, other Spren that has not been documented. I believe that he's on the search for Honor Spren. And there is something about Syl, who went full-sized during combat. There's something going on there. Now, the way that Syl, I believe, eventually can be used is like your Navi, is the, hey, listen, do this.
She's
do
the
this.
Microsoft clip, paperclip.
Yeah, but far less annoying. We actually want Syl around.
Hey, Kaladin!
I
What
see you're
if-
trying to
what if-
make a document.
I
Would you like a
just had an
margin?
idea.
Yeah.
What if she's like a ghost of like the Knights Radiant? Because we don't know what Spren like actually are.
Also, the
Like, it's like
Almighty
they're
was supposed to
here
have
around-
passed and died, and he ain't dead.
Yeah. So like, what if she's some sort of actually like spirit? Because Spren could be like spiritual energy. It doesn't actually explain like what they're made of, you know?
I think, yeah, we're only just starting.
Wait, Maude, why do you say the Almighty is not dead?
The last chapter.
Well, no, because
He's dead. He's dead, and he actually names who murdered him.
Yeah.
Odium.
Yeah.
What?
So,
Did
like-
I miss that last chapter? I read it with my own eyes.
The last
Yeah, it sounds
sentence
like you
said
missed
that
it.
I'm dead.
What? One at a time.
It was like the
So-
last sentence.
Yeah. I've got the book.
Yeah, he said like I'm dead. Yeah.
You should probably
But
listen.
that's-
It's good in Michael Crane. He does a good job narrating that one.
Oh, it doesn't.
That's
Yeah.
why he can't respond to anything Dalinar asks, is because he's like a recording. He's already dead.
But
And when
wasn't
he
Wit
said-
waiting for him?
That
No,
was,
it was
so
waiting
if
for
you-
one of the heralds.
Okay, this is like the thing
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to
Oh, he's
most.
just a herald.
That was the herald that in
Just.
the prologue, those two were like, yeah, we're ditching it. Town, like, this guy can take care of the desolations. And the guy that they left behind is the one who showed up at Kolinar. And I'm like, what the hell?
Talanel Alin.
Mhm.
Stoner's new. Herald of the Almighty. My bad. Herald of the Almighty. I was like, that's the goddamn Almighty. All right, cool. That's cool. No, Herald of the Almighty. The desolation has come. Oh God, it has come, and I have failed. Oh,
I
then he
think
died.
it's also interesting when he names his killer. His killer is odium. Odio is hatred in Latin and Spanish.
Colleen, I love that you're here.
Odium also was name dropped during Kaladin's vision in the storm when he sees the Stormfather, and it's like Odium reigns. That's the only other time Odium's name is mentioned, is during that vision.
J. Bound Rock says Syl is an oath spren. Did we cover that? Honor spren?
I remember. I thought it was Honor Spren.
Honor spren.
On the spread.
Honestly,
Does that
he's like,
mean, does that mean they're dishonor spread as well?
Yeah, I
Like
thought
the-
it was Oath Spren as well. That's what I thought I remembered.
honor and oath. Are they different?
Well, you have to have honor to keep an oath.
Well said. Well said.
But you can have dishonorable oaths as well. So you can have some that, honor would mean breaking an oath.
What I think that you're describing as well is the realization of what Kaladin and Dalinar have been struggling with so much. I'm trying to be honorable. I'm saving my people, but I'm killing countless others. How is one death, or like death, the death that I'm creating, how is that good and honorable? Who gets to decide what's good and what's bad? This is a thing that's kind of like haunting both of them. They're both going through this. Except, Colleen, you said earlier that Kaladin went through a Super Saiyan. He's Super Saiyaning. I love that. He sure did. He Super Saiyaned the shit out of it. That was just so much fun to watch. Let's talk about Yasna and Shallan. Yasna takes Shallan back because Shallan shows Yasna, I mean, she begs quite a bit, but shows her drawings. And it's like, you gotta help me. I don't know what this means, but I can see it. I'm in. Whatever this shit is, I'm knee deep. We gotta work together. Please trust me. She's like, by the way, don't ever steal from me again. She's like, say less. Done. Like, all good. I'm gonna miss my family, but what is going on? I'm going to miss my family, but there is something way bigger than this, than us, than them that I'm locked into, and you and I are going to be the ones to charge this. And then Yasna basically shows her the documents, the notes, the information, the passages about Voidbringers and what all of that is. Now, something that we learned from that. Yes?
You're skipping the part where Shallan calls Yasna out for having a broken soulcaster, which is kind of integral.
A big deal. A very
Yeah.
big deal. Saying you didn't notice that I stole it. Your soulcaster never worked to begin with. Do you want to take over from that one since I already skipped it?
Yeah, sure. So the entire reason why that sort of matters is that means that Yasna has been casting on a broken soulcaster this whole time. So the reason why Shallan is taken back by Yasna is that they both have this ability to soul cast without a functioning soulcaster. So that's why the two of them work so well together, because they're both scholars trying to solve like whatever is happening on the surface of Roshar.
Yeah, they're two sides of the same coin for sure.
Well, they're also the same, like on another side of the coin as of Kaladin, because Kaladin is like using the power for like fighting, but they're using it like because Fabriel's like create, right? So they are sucking it the same way that he sucks in the Stormlight. They're doing it too. So it's like these three people all have kind of like awoken at the same time, that like there's a desolation coming. So it's almost like a resurrection of like the Knights Radiant or something.
And this goes back to masculine and feminine. This goes back to Kaladin's powers are to destroy, whereas the women's powers are to create. So it's that devise again between man and woman, or masculine and feminine. So their powers are to create. What was that?
Kill to protect.
Kill to protect, but also, create to destroy. Create to destroy. I wonder what they're destroying. The desolation.
Remember in one of Dalinar's vision, he was surprised to see a woman shard bearer.
Yeah.
And so he was like, a woman shard bearer. So like there's clearly power. How? Yeah.
But that was from a very ancient, 1,000 years before. So 1,000 years ago, there were women shard bearers. Yeah. But that's been stamped out. But
the most important thing, was the safe hand covered or not? That's the important question.
Well, she's wearing armor, so
probably.
Colleen says, "Are these the Radiants returning?" During the High Republic. There you go. Carlos says, did anyone expect Yasna to be so reasonable about Shallan stealing her soulcaster? I honestly feel like the information that they have uncovered is that the soulcaster itself is irrelevant. Yes, she was distrustful. I think Shallan has now recognized that this is so much bigger than just trying to help her family, and that they are possessed with knowledge, power, information, whatever it is, to be able to step up and be something bigger than they are. So they really do have to work together, and that is sort of like the glue that is binding them at this stage. Colleen says, I think she felt blackmailed.
I mean, to be fair, like I'm pretty sure that Yasna could just destroy Shallan pretty easily if she wanted to. So she's a reasonable person. She understood that like she stole from her, but that she was regretful, and she understood that like her powers and her her future as a scholar was too valuable to ignore.
Yeah, she's nothing if not pragmatic, and she doesn't seem like she gets phased by a lot.
I actually feel like I relate most to Yasna. Here's Shalon, if you're watching the stream. I love this art. I think this is so beautiful. Brightness right there. And here's a little image. Oh, it's over my face. Here's a little, no, there's a little image of all of those scenes. So you've got Yasna, you've got Shalon, you've got Capsule, and you've got this king just chilling, minding his own biz over here with all the glyphs surrounding him. Ooh. There's a lot of Yasna art, and something that I really want to spend a second talking about, and this is definitely worth looking at. All of the artwork of Yasna, because of the description being somewhat vague, the artist's interpretations are beautiful. So here is obviously an Asian Yasna, but then you have a black Yasna, because the hair color was just dark and the eyes were purple. And so people's interpretations, this is how I saw Yasna the most here. This gorgeous art, which I think has summed up, I think I told you last time, she looked like
Esmeralda.
Esmeralda.
I don't know, that picture gives Moiraine from the Wheel of Time series.
Except opposite completely. This one, I don't know. She kind of, I think
I don't know.
There's an ethnicity.
Kind of not a lot of emotion to her, you know.
And then here is a white Yasna. Who does she look like? This Yasna I thought was a little
on the nose.
Yeah, quite literally. I mean, my nose is a bit longer than hers, but everything, I just need a little bit more of a prominent chin. But I looked at this picture and I was like, me with brown hair?
You do not have that chin.
Not yet. There's another Yasna, which I thought was quite interesting.
It's been a lot of chin right there.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that. Let's look at Adolin.
God.
Here's one. Here's another. Oh, look at them blue eyes. Look at them blue eyes. Look at that chin. And then my favorite, I have titled this one Adolin Woof. Hi, Adolin. And because they got the black streaks in their hair, which I really appreciated. That, and you can keep kneeling, my love. That's this is a family show, Maude. Okay, sorry, my bad, but just one more time.
So I just need to point out a funny thing was when Dallin and Kaladin had their meeting, their talk, Dallin was like saying Adolin is still he's still griping about how he spoke to him on the battlefield.
Dude, you nearly died. That's the last thing. Kaladin taking charge like that, I tucked my hair behind my ear when he was giving orders. He was like, I don't care if you're a light eyes. You gotta do this. You gotta do that. I'm gonna just kill 700 people and save all of your lives in the next 3 seconds. So when I goddamn talk, you're gonna listen to what I'm saying. It was beautiful. Kaladin's 23? And he's just eating up on that the plateau, the shattered whatever's plains, which I have right here. They're the war camps.
I thought right after that, when Kaladin was talking, like rescuing Dalinar, like Dalinar's on the verge of death at the hands of the Shard Bearer, and Kaladin takes the Shard Bearer out, and Kaladin has to explain, look, my people won't leave till your people will get off. Your people won't leave till you tell them to. So please get up and leave.
So you gotta tell them. Go. Please go.
I was like, damn, this conversation is a bit too long for like how on the verge of death you all are. But
yeah.
I mean, I just thought it was
but you're
amusing.
seeing demonstrations of honor begets honor begets honor begets. It's like he's gonna get you all killed. Like, have you learnt nothing? Toast opposed to saying he promoted a light eyes. He's like, can you even do that? And he's like, it needs to be done, so I did it. Someone has to. Oh, that was such a great moment. Kaladin's just like crushing. And then his negotiations. Not only has he recognized that Dalinar has given up his shard blade to take Bridge 4 because he promised. He's like, so you can't promise that you can save us. We are
He
Sadeas's property.
He took the Maude seminar of self-worth.
God damn right. And he's like, nope, I gave my word, so I will give my sword to make this happen. And that conversation about like how much is a life worth? And they both have that same understanding that it's priceless. You cannot put a price on a life. Sadeas could put a price on a life. Amaran put a price on life. Everyone else seems to have put a price on life. The Light Eyes can definitely put a price on life, but that's what Dalinar and Kaladin have in common. So that was really beautiful, that moment. Adolin was still upset with the way that Kaladin talked to him, because you are going to see this a lot. It's very, like, if we could draw parallels between Red Rising and this, Light Eyes are golds. You were born a gold. You look that particular way. You have authority over others. And when someone underneath you challenges you, it is absolutely unacceptable. So Adolin has to continue representing that caste system, and Kaladin just completely abolishing it, just being a badass. Wow, so beautiful. Academic saying Syl likes Dalinar for a reason. Honor. Syl is literally the embodiment of honor, and those two have it in spades. Did Maude's opinion of Adolin change? Academic said not even once. Correct.
I think if we're preparing for the Knights Radiant to come back, they have to break down all of these barriers between light eyes and dark eyes, and males and females.
It's not even just the High Princes. Yeah, you're right. It's everyone. No. It's outwards and up and down, Yeah.
Exactly. I even wondered at one point if, when he was told unite them, if it might not include the Parshendi, because they're beginning to learn that in some ways the Parshendi have more honor than all these light eyes.
Yeah.
Also,
and I think Dalinar and definitely Kaladin have recognized that. Kaladin even said that. I'm killing people who have shown me more respect than light eyes have. The people that I'm sworn to kill.
Because we got the cover image in this section where it was Dalinar and the Parshendi Shardbearer that are saluting each other, like, well fought battle. But Ken pointed out interestingly in the chat the thing that Syl hates the Shardblade, which is really interesting.
Kaladin hated holding it as well. Kaladin won it, and he said it
even
felt
with the
wrong.
Amaram one, he's like, he didn't even want to touch it, and it wasn't even like, it could have just been his grief with Tien.
No, he could have had a very much highlighted that he was emoting a feeling of wrongness about the Shardblade. He didn't want it. He didn't want to hold it. It felt and seemed wrong. Syl feels that as well. I'm wondering if Dalinar's so okay giving it up, because deep down he kind of feels wrong with it. He was overtaken though by something called the thrill. And more, like when he was fighting, he used to just switch on that thrill and be like, death, great, ha! But the more that he's coming attuned with himself, and the more that honor and the codes are taking the wheel a little bit more and driving him, he's recognizing that he doesn't want to tap into the thrill. The thrill is essentially blocking him. It is stopping him from seeing a truth behind it. It's like being inebriated and realizing that inappropriate behavior was, I just had a few too many, and that excused that behavior.
Ties right back to what you were talking about. Sorry.
No, it ties me back how?
Ties back into what you're talking about, where Dalinar was talking about, this is going to be an addiction. If I invest in this at all, I'm going to... Yes.
But now that he's sober, he's seeing truth. He's letting honor supersede, and I wonder if that's why. Because was anyone else shocked that he just goes, all right, Sadeas, you've just betrayed me, but I'm almost going to reward bad behavior by giving you my Shardblade that you have had a hard-on for this entire book. You've got a boner for the sword. I'm literally going to give that to you after you betrayed me, because I want these men. Was anyone else like, what are you doing?
No, Ethan said earlier in the chat that if Sadius wasn't such a ding dong, he would have realized he actually got the short end of that stick. Like, sure, it's a sword, but if he had seen Kaladin fighting or realized how much of a leader Kaladin is and how the bridge crew became,
He
like,
single-handedly
what they
saved
grew,
that whole thing.
yeah, like, that sword is nothing compared to those, especially because, like, I think it was Teft said when Kaladin was fighting that the Stormlight doesn't create skill, it perfects it. So it was like perfecting the skill that Kaladin already had. So Sadius is like, yeah, he might be like a good sword fighter, but compared to, like, you know, there's 100 good sword fighters.
You can throw
It's just like
glitter
a
on
magic
shit.
sword.
At the end of the day, it's still a turd.
It doesn't make him, yeah, it's like, it doesn't make, he could still get stabbed in his sleep. It doesn't make him invincible. So I think that Sadius is so blinded by, like, Shardblade that he didn't think of how badly that deal was favored towards Dalinar, because it was just like, oh, it's just bridgemen. But that was the same thing we were talking about before, that they don't see with the whole, like, with Tien and that they don't see the strength of their tools.
A person, exactly. And you saw Dalinar look at Kaladin and how his entire bridge, like his group,
even the non-bridge 4 guys were immediately like, yeah, we're gonna follow Kaladin.
Yeah,
like, and
they
weren't even the ones who were working. Yeah.
He just had absolute essence and recognizing that, and beautiful moments where Kaladin's like, you know what, I can say yes to this deal that you're offering, but I can't speak on behalf of my men. And he's like, didn't you say that they would do anything you asked? And he's like, yeah, but at the end of the day, it's still their choice. And you're like, oh,
yeah,
that's
like,
good
I don't
leadership.
own them.
Yeah.
I think another thing about that deal is that by taking all of Sadius's bridgemen, Sadius is a bit crippled from getting more gemstones until he can replenish his supply of bridgemen.
KPW is saying it wasn't just Bridge 4, it was all 1,000 bridgemen. It was all the bridgemen. Vaden, you got your hand up.
Oh, just I was going to talk to, like we talked before, about the Parshendi, because one thing I don't know if we've really touched on much is
we have not.
They're because we talked about how honorable they are and how there's a lot more to them that we don't know. And one of the things is, and that what was exploited by Kaladin was their respect for the dead. So like they respect their dead a lot, and there's a lot that we don't know about. Like I said, we know that some of them maybe women, some women maybe men, you know, male female pairs could be like husband and wife, but like they have a huge respect for their dead, and by using their body parts essentially, and like, or armor and like, and gallivanting like that, Kaladin pissed off a lot of the people, especially the one that's in one Parshendi that's in his in Bridge 4. And
he's weaponized their culture, essentially.
Yeah, and I'm sure that they'll come back on him at some point, but like it's really interesting because they provoked them, and also just it's super interesting because it makes you wonder why they care so much, because they care way more than Lefty do, and way more than he else does. So why? What's special?
And it's really interesting too because of with the thing with Shallan, how the Parshmen, who are Parshendi, just a different kind, are the Voidbringers.
Yes.
Which was I posted it on Fable, but it was one of the, you know, little parts ahead of where it was the quotes of the dead people. It gave it away, like in part 2, I think. One of them was talking about like something Voidbringers. I forget what chapter it was in, but I posted about it in Fable that it said like their skin red and black.
And that's what Shallan had mentioned. She's like, wait a second, I'm putting 2 and 2
But
together
that was
here.
one of
What
the
heck?
chapter headers earlier, like in part 2 of the book.
Oh, well done.
While we're giving a head nod to all the things that Sadius is missing out on, Bridge 4 has like a month of actual spear training, and that was like in shifts with broken spears at the bottom of a cavern, and they hold off this entire Parshendi force with only 2 losses. What are we talking about here? Sadius is missing out so much. So much.
Very short-sighted, extremely short-sighted, because he just doesn't see the value of, you know, what he deems fodder. Like he can train up anybody and they become a military might.
And what about Gaz's replacement, where she was like, oh, well, if you're so good at it, we'll put you on bridge runs every day, not knowing that the more influence, the more times these guys were demonstrating, we're going to do different bridge techniques. I'm going to deflect, I'm going to harbor all of the arrows. I'm going to save the
Well, yeah,
wounded.
All
I'm
these
going
light
to
eyes keep just trying to grind Kaladin down, and it's just making him stronger.
And people are bearing witness to it now. So he's getting a reputation. He's becoming more powerful and influential because people are seeing what he's willing to do. Back to the Parshendi, it's kind of like a modern day sleeper cell arrangement where it's like the Parshendi is supposed to be the help. They are sort of almost mute, but they're helpful and they're obedient and they haven't ruffled feathers. And so they've just kind of drifted under the radar a little bit.
It's actually domesticated.
Domesticated. Exactly. No. We own them. They'll do anything that we say. Having Shen as a part of Bridge 4 was very, very interesting because Shen would evoke reaction knowing that like, oh, he's going to get triggered if he's out on the field because we're wearing his people's bones, you know, so we'll leave him behind. But to still have him as a part of the group and not destroy him, so to speak, even though Teft is like, no, get him out. It's like, no, he's still a person. Like, come on. Knowing that Shen's not communicating anything, but him seeing that he's now a part of this team, this family, that will be interesting. But knowing from Shallan, reading the workings there, where it's like the Voidbringers are the Parshmen and the Parshendi. They have integrated
But do the
themselves.
Parshmen remember that? They might not even remember it because
That's
it's been
why
so
it's like
long,
a sleeper
right?
cell. This is, I don't know if it's like, we saw what happened to Kaladin. He had a moment where he realized that he was fueled by saving as a way to assuage his guilt. As soon as he accepted message number 2, I will help those that cannot be helped. You know, I'm going to step up and I'm going to save those that cannot be saved. Like, that is my selfless deed. He went Super Saiyan. It was like, cool, you recited the lines. Lines were powerful. It has untapped your power. And with that moment of kind of like, he exploded out and like harnessed the power that was dormant inside of him. Who's to say the Parshmen and the Parshendi won't have that exact same thing? What word will be their key to unlock who they are?
That's true.
We
But
don't
one thing
know.
I want, before I forget, going back to Dalinar for a second, it's interesting that he's like kind of the Light Eyes who's starting the change, right? Where he's like,
Yes.
I'm giving
Which
up
is
my
why
Shard Blade.
Which is why he's the top number on the murder list for Seth now.
But there's also him and Navani. Navani is kind of her and Jasna, but Navani too is like starting a change in the way the women are too. Because Navani's like, why are you putting me out to pasture? It's like, just because I'm old, just because it's like I'm not married like my husband's dead. Like, you just want to put me out to pasture and like forget I exist. It's like, no, like I'm gonna still create, I'm still gonna like do all these things. And she immediately was like, okay, Dalinar, I believe you, what can we do about this? And she was immediately like just storming into Sadius's camp where everyone else was kind of like, you know, but the propriety. And she
drew the prayer 20 steps long. She drew
just right
this
in front of them.
blood red prayer. What a baller. But also, what attracted Dalinar? What did she do? Honor. She kept his secrets. She didn't weaponize his vulnerabilities, his weakness. He's like, she's had ample chance to betray me. She's kept my secrets. She's a person that I've continued confiding in, and she's kept my trust. Like, this is someone that I can trust, and that is honor. And that's sort of like, interesting. Shallan, though, not fucking honorable. She literally came into this picture with deception. Shallan
yeah, she killed her dad.
Okay, how did she kill her dad? I missed that.
It didn't say. She didn't say how she did it, but she said she killed him. That was the truth that she gave.
And
to the person.
Her father is a part of this organization that Taverna, what's his name? Tavernian?
Oh,
Taravagian.
I love that everyone's like Taravangian. King Taravangian. It's like, it's too many syllables for my brain.
I've heard that name.
Taravangian?
Oh, he's like the guy who brings in all the people who are sick in Carboranth. Like, he's the one, like, that people.
But he's the same king that
T-Dog.
Yasna was having tea with that Shallan drew, right? Same guy?
Yep.
Yeah,
And
that's the same
he's
guy.
shrouded with those glyph head, which we realize now is a, what is it called? Not Shen.
It's a spren.
Yeah, it's a
Spren.
spren.
Spren. So yeah, what's going on there? We just call him King T. But I like. Okay, so hold on. Back to the Ghost Bloods. All right. Yes, Colleen.
I have a comment that it's sort of non sequitur here, but when we were talking about the shard blades and how both Paladin and Syl actually said that Dalinar was a better man without it. And I mean, this may be way off track, but shard is usually like a broken piece of something.
Yes.
So I'm wondering if these shard blades are broken from something, and that's why they're not all that they should be. Does that make
You
sense?
think that they're a part of something. So there was maybe a massive glyph made of this material that has been broken and disrupted, and then each Radiant Knight was gifted a part of it. So it's just a sum of the whole?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm wondering if in the breaking they were somehow now flawed.
Okay, look at academic
tarnished.
Still
look at academic Dennis's face when I say this. But what if because there was the whole thing about the desolation coming with Odian reigns and like Odian has killed me. What if the shards are hastening the desolation coming? What if there's some sort of like every time they're being used, they're sucking some sort of like power it's almost like, like the same, like sucking power out of like the storms or something. So it's making it happen faster.
Makes me think of the subtle knife, actually.
Is that why the Radiants were giving up their blades? I thought they just got over
Like
it.
a theory I had. That's why I said look at Lisa and
She's
academic
doing
faces.
this. She's
You
doing
can't warn
this
them.
right now.
You have to catch them out.
Yeah, I know. You
Look,
gotta
I'm not going to give any reaction.
So my theory is the same as
give you plenty of reactions.
So
Hold on,
in the Twitch chat. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm referring to the chat as well. We got here, KP Dub saying, what if the shards are pieces of the Almighty? If they're dead, maybe they were broken?
Just like Kaladin using the bodies of the Parshendi.
Yeah, like the Almighty was killed and was shattered, and somehow the heralds of the Almighty used these pieces to make their oath blades, gifted smaller pieces to make the shard blades.
Yeah,
but yeah, something about this, because they're broken, eventually they can't handle it anymore and they give them up. Just like Dalinar is now getting nauseous when he fights with it. He's like, wait, why am I using this for killing? And way back earlier in the book, he's like, I should be using a shard plate to like build bridges and houses and everything. Why am I just killing? There's got to be more.
Oh, well said.
Well, because also when there's nothing, I can't remember, did Shallan, when she first, because we don't get Jasna's point of view at all, but did Shallan say anything about when she accidentally, soul cast? Did she say anything about like feeling sick or like wrong afterwards, aside from being like confused, obviously? But I don't remember.
Kind of blanked out. She didn't even realize or recognize she was doing it.
But it's also she's using it for creation, not destruction, so it might be different.
Well, she kind of came to and she recognized that she soul casted blood in the one time that she had done that, but she had just gone on a massive trip. So
I will say that Kaladin doesn't sound like he's getting sick from using Stormlight, though, right?
But he's not using a shard blade. It's different.
But remember, Shallan wasn't using
Stormlight.
Yeah, but Shallan wasn't using. Right, exactly. But Shallan hasn't been using a soul caster.
So yeah, so it's the same. So maybe if you're using a soul caster, eventually you might start feeling like sick or have some sort of degradation. But because Shallan, Jasna, and Kaladin are like doing it like naturally, they don't feel that. But Kaladin, because he's so in tune with Stormlight, that's why he felt sick even before touching it. where it took Dalinar like longer. He had to use it for a long time, right?
Because he harnesses Stormlight, but through other weapons, so it's not through him.
What was that other thing called? Surge bringers or surge binders?
Surge binding. Yeah.
But is that what Kaladin and Seth are?
Yes.
They're not shard bearers.
They're
But Seth does have a shard blade.
That's true.
Yeah, but
I forgot about
dude
that.
hates himself. He's literally like, every waking moment of my life is agony because of what I've had to do with his shard blade.
So I think it's Zeth and I believe Kaladin seem like they're the Windrunners. I thought for sure Zeth is. I don't know about Kaladin. He seems to have similar powers, and I think Shallan and I think Syl maybe is Surge Binders.
She
That's
did
what they
say,
mentioned.
I help bind things together. And then she comes out and says, honor Spren.
This is kind of like a tangent, but when Kazda, Jam boyfriend, when he died, did they see a ghost blood tattoo on him? Was he part of that group?
Yes.
Okay.
He a bad boy.
So the same group as her dad?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
How did she say she killed her dad? When did that happen?
It didn't say.
But how come she said it? I killed my dad.
Well, because she had to give a truth.
Mm-hmm.
When
Remember, there was one point.
Place.
There was one point where she was counting 10 heartbeats.
Yeah,
like
she
a
started
shard
counting.
blare, but she never got there. So did she kill her dad and get a shard blade? Did she use a shard blade to kill her dad? So many questions.
Her dad had a soulcaster, which is technically a woman's thing. Who's her mom?
It's an Ardent's thing. But the Ghost Bloods gave it to him. Is what we learned in this book.
Where's her mom?
And then when he died, the Ghost Bloods came and they wanted it back.
Mm-hmm.
The Ghost Bloods and the Ghost Crips, is that a thing?
I think you're right on.
Okay. KP Dubs was like, I was thinking the same thing. Here's a little thing from Super Summary that I want to share with everyone. This is for the Chapter 75 and Epilogue analysis. The name of the section mirrors the first section's title, Above Silence. In fact, the 5 parts are arranged symmetrically around the middle section titled Dying. They read, Above Silence, Illuminating Storms, Dying, Storm's Illumination, The Silence Above. Read together, they form a paraphrase of sorts of the Voron poem, Above Silence, the Illuminating Storms, Dying Storms, Illuminate, the Silence Above. This poem style is called a ketek, a complex form of holy Voron poem. The ketek not only reads the same forward and backward, allowing for alteration of verb forms, but is also divisible into 5 distinct smaller sections, each of which makes a complete thought. In the endnote, a scribe remarks that the poem was originally uttered by a dying Herdasian, someone illiterate who did not know the language in which he spoke. Additionally, the poem has not been recorded in any other known document. These elements support King Taravangian's belief that the words of the dying hold special meaning, as Sanderson increasingly complicates the religious and spiritual nature of Voronism in these chapters. Who picked that up? That, I believe, is a goddamn Easter egg that I would not have gotten unless it was for that. So the 5 chapters were named each part of this particular poem, which can be read the same as it is backwards. So this is like drops of information that someone has to be dying to be able to pertain and to say. The fact that like one in every however many has like a attunement to, I guess, like an afterlife moment or being tapped into something bigger than them when they die. And it's like, well, we're just going to keep killing people until we find little bits of information. And the same thing's happening with Dalinar. He's speaking in ancient language when he's going into these visions that he's having.
If because it's like a mirror of itself, like the palindrome part is like the first part is a mirror of the second part. If to represent to use D&D terms, like the material plane and the Shadowfell, because the Shadesmar would be like the Shadowfell, right? So is it like those two parallel worlds that it's like this religion is encompassing both?
Okay, so there is actually a big conversation in here about sort of religion and how Sanderson constantly asks and it gets people to challenge their thoughts, but it all comes back to something bigger than you are. And essentially the messaging is you got to look out for people that can't help themselves. You have to have a giving nature. You need to help. And I think overall that message is amazing because it isn't necessarily religion jammed down your throat, it's an ideology, which mirrors my ideology, which is don't be a dick. But I guess this is more trying to help others in your community, people that are less than or unfortunate or cannot help themselves. It's a code of ethics, says Vaden. I really like, this is very intrinsic of a lot of anime, which is like put in the hard work, be a hero, help others, and you kind of like watch it feeling empowered. You're like, God, I can actually make a positive impact in this world. This book's essentially sort of doing the same thing, but it's got like a very looming evil presence that's about to come and annihilate or desolate everything in there as well. So that's quite interesting. Tospost says the Parshendi sing a song while they die. I wonder how that fits into all of this. That was a really beautiful moment with the Parshendi where it's like song is almost like their religion. It's their communication. It's the ties to their community. And there's so many references of like, even though they're not near each other, they're singing the same song at the same time. They are connected together. It's almost like they're unified as a people. But hearing more about the Parshendi, where it's like Dalinar going, that Parshendi seems to have a feminine sort of traits in their face. Are these husbands and wives fighting alongside each other? What do we not know about these people? The fact that they are speaking the ancient language that no one can sort of express. What about this Parshendi shard bearer, this 7-foot Goliath who comes into play at the end here? And Dalinar's challenging his honor, being like, I've killed thousands of your men and you show up now? Why are you showing up just now? What is that about? And there being some sort of like conversation between this Parshendi shard bearer being like identifying Dalinar as a key person. I'm looking at people's faces as I say these things. Recognizing Dalinar as a key person.
It's a spotlight on her today.
Something bigger going on there. Why did this shard bearer only just surface now, right at the end as well? What are the Parshendi about? I saw it as like Diablo. Remember all the Diablo games where it's like you kill one and there's just swarms more. You don't know where they come from, but they just keep coming. That's what the Parshendi were like. It was like, what kind of game is that? Slasher, what is it? The brawler?
A touch and crawl.
Yeah.
It seems like the Parshendi were following their own code of ethics, right? Like that was what Kaladin was noticing in that last battle. And so I think that the shard bearer not showing up until, Dalinar was in his full might was just an expression of that sort of honor.
But also the respect that they had. Dalinar's like, hey, we're done fighting. And they're like, no worries, we won't keep killing you. And it was like this sort of honor, they can't understand each other's language, but they can understand sort of like respect shown. And that was demonstrated there as well. And Kaladin being like, the enemy has shown me more respect for me than Light Eyes have shown me. Like, why am I killing these guys when I've been disrespected so hard this entire Kaladin the Paladin. Very nicely done. Carlos asks everyone, how do you guys compare this book to Mistborn? Truscorn says, this is what epic fantasy should be.
I put it earlier in the chat, but I remember when we did Mistborn that one of the critiques we had was about the romantic relationships and how Sanderson kind of had, he wasn't that good at writing them. But I feel like the
Daddy
stuff with
Dalinar
Nirvana,
got some.
yeah, that stuff was really, really good. And I think
he pushed her against a wall.
He's grown a lot as a writer. So you can really, especially because we did the Mistborn series for Club, that you can feel like he has really grown as a writer.
And seeing it as giving into a temptation, recognizing what seduction can look and feel like. Navani's saying, I've just given you the most honest version of myself. And he's like, yeah, that's what's seductive. The fact that you were being vulnerable and real and authentic right now. But you're right. Like, pay respects to Sanderman. He learned about lust. We got a little bit of spice. What was that? A little half a spice. They smooched. He sniffed her hair. Like, we're getting there. It's fine. Baby steps. But yeah.
I mean, this is a world where you got to cover up your hand. All right,
true.
That's some spice. All right.
Yeah, she was like, ooh, and he was like,
I don't think this is gonna be the next Fourth Wing.
Woohoo!
She did. She touched the small of his back with her her guard hand or whatever.
Ooh, she did. Ooh. Also, the smut of Fourth Wing was not like that. Was it was not.
Was it fanfic level?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of insulting to fanfiction.
I said it. Yeah, it was. Anyway, good chat, everyone. Wait, Dane or Sadius? Dane. Oh, Dane's such a dick. Tamlin or Dane. Sadius is just being a shit. Like, I think it's a Tamlin or Dane, I believe, is a better comparison.
Dane at least thinks he's doing the right thing. Sadius is just a dick and he knows he's being a dick.
Exactly. Exactly. There's no
I don't know. I feel like Sadius has maintained that he's doing what's good for Alethkar, like from his perspective.
Now
he's maintained that.
Dane didn't really think that he was throwing Violet under the bus quite as hard as he actually ended up doing.
Well, Sadius
he thought he was saving her.
I think that's rationalization. I think he's just rationalizing there, to justify what he's doing. It's for the good of Alethkar.
It's power. It's greed.
I've got a better analogy.
I agree with you, Colin. Oh, go for it.
Dalinar is Ned Stark and Sadius is Littlefinger. He just played the game better.
Sure.
Because he didn't have honor.
Honor
gets in the way of the Game of Thrones. Yeah.
But remember, Dalinar has less Ned Stark in him because he'll throw what is it? Not Alethkar. What's his name? What's his face?
Ellie.
Elokar.
I call him Ellie now.
Yeah, Ellie, little Ellie. Little Ellie up against the wall. So
yeah, he can see me like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh my god. I had a whole.
His own mother clowns on him. And Dalinar's like, no, he's not that bad. And Navani's like, yeah, he is.
His own mom is like, man, my son sucks.
I had all the book art here for everyone to look at. All the artwork from the book. This is the Shattered Plains. Wild. There's the codes for war was in there. These are the war camps of Alethi, so they're so separate.
You can tell which pages were drawn by Shallan and which ones were drawn by inferior artists.
Is that right? Oh, these are Shallan's works?
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that you're seeing in the book is actually from Shallan.
Some of them are, yeah.
All the bestiary ones are Shallan.
That's so cool. And this is the Soulcaster. Wow. Yeah, that was no good. That looks like Dalinar just scribbled a bit. Yeah, there's maps in here. I don't even know what any of this means yet, but I'm sure I will. What am I doing at the top of this page? What?
You have to be very careful when you go on things like the wiki.
Yeah, we're not.
Lots of spoilers on there.
Yeah, let's not go to the wiki.
I mean, is it a spoiler if you can't understand it? It just looks like
it's only you only don't understand it until you do.
Yeah, okay. So was most of this goddamn book.
I will say.
Yeah, but what if it opens other doors that you weren't looking for?
One thing I will say with the images is I kept going back to the map because they'd mentioned like towns and cities, and I'd go back looking for it on the map and it wouldn't be on there. And I was like, just put it on the map.
Oh, Maude, academic. I just wanted to say one thing. The difference between Ned Stark and Dalinar is Ned Stark was a guy who was raised with that Stark code of honor his entire life. Dalinar is a guy who's trying to be honorable in his middle age.
That's true. He's already learned how
he's
bad the
now
world
trying
can
to
be.
honor. Yeah.
So anyway, everyone, we just did the Way of Kings. Well done. Looks like we got an average of about 4.5, if not 5. Well done. Yeah. Now we've got to read Under the Whispering Door by T.J. Klune. You got a week to finish the book. A lot of you have started already. Many of you have even finished it. I'm on about chapter 10. The day after we do our full spoiler chat on that, I'll be interviewing TJ. If you remember, we got a document for you. Add your questions in there. I would like to talk mostly about House in the Cerulean Sea, which we did about 1.5 years ago. If you haven't read that book, it's so flippin' good. The sequel comes out in September. I believe we're going to do it as a bonus book here for Book Club again. Very different book to Under the Whispering Door. But we're celebrating Pride Month here at Maude's Book Club, so we're going to get our pride on big time. Colleen says, does Wallace get less whiny? Not where I'm up to. Under the Cerulean Sea, though, is like having a warm hug from a good friend. Oh, such a great book. So we'll be chatting about that. If you've been in the club for a while, you know about House in the Cerulean Sea. I think it was our second highest rated book for the club. We loved it. Warm jello slime hug. Exactly. I do recommend trying to get that book read because I think most of my conversation, well, majority of it will be there. But if you do have a question, you can get that in. If you haven't become a member yet, do it. It unlocks some of the Discord, which you can join for free. Head on over there. We got a link for you. Check out the Patreon as well. Matthew says, what other fantasy books are you reading right now? I need new good books to read. Also, hi from England. It's 3 a.m. here. Matthew, go to bed. That's late. Plenty of book recs. A lot of our, there you go. There's a bookshop link with all of my book recs, which I will try to keep adding to because I keep reading more and more books. If you've read The Way of Kings, fantastic. If you haven't read Mistborn, that's a good series to do. Anyone else got some fantasy recommendations for Matthew? Dungeon Crawler Carl. Read Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Project Hail Mary.
Between Earth and Sky.
Yeah.
Between Earth and Sky, the Black Sun trilogy.
Plenty of books. We should do more recommendations. I have particular types that I am into. Some of the books that people absolutely love, I couldn't finish. But who knows? Sometimes I struggled through them. Other ones I absolutely loved. The Darkest Shade of Magic, says Darren. A Darkest Shade of Magic, which I believe is behind me in my shelf. Assassin's Apprentice. Some people like that. Gideon the Ninth. Stop it. What are you doing, Darren? Stop.
You know, Maude, I just realized that the shadow on your copy of Dune looks like it actually says June.
Yay! June! I love that. Will of the Many, says Academic. Bunch of recommendations there for you. Or just keep it tuned to Maude's Book Club. We'd cover a bunch of fantasy. We've got the rest of the year pretty much slated out. Check out what we're going to be continuing reading this year. Is it just a members thing? Members know. Members know everything. On that note, let's raid. We've got to raid into Adam, surely. Still going? Great. Let's raid. I've never raided into Adam before, I don't think. Well, not in the last year or two. That's cool. I love Stormlight so much, and I hate Wheel of Time, says Kate. Wheel of Time is low. Brandon Sanderson did finish that series, though, when Robert Jordan passed.
I broke a customer's heart when I told him I thought it was boring.
Oh, poor Kate.
Boring.
Kate's
Matthew
customer,
says,
actually.
Matthew says,
Well, no,
unpopular
'cause he just came
opinion.
in and we were
This is
talking
important.
about books. Oh, he agrees with you because he's got an accent too.
And we're right. Ha! Okay, on that note, go say hi to Adam. Bye, everyone. Yay! Everyone drop some books in Adam's
We'll
chat.
get all our
He's
shit.
streaming.
Okay, my fuel did go up.
No gaming stream tonight?
Garrett has
No,
recently
tomorrow
moved
afternoon.
into 3 friends.
Tomorrow afternoon.
I'm sorry that they brought you here.
I thought maybe we were doing another community gaming.
I'm sorry for you having to be here with me.
What?
Here is bad.
I'm listening to
I
Adam.
even practiced
Where
Stardew.
you already were.
What'd you get up to?
I mean,
I don't like day 10 or something. I finally caught a fish. I could not catch a damn fish to save my life.
That fishing mechanic is bomb.